back on the black bear grind once again. While I'm enjoying it this much, I figure why not just continue with it, and who knows, maybe we'll just get it done early and either start a second one or get out of Reventuli, I'm not sure. I like that idea, Bottom Boy. There's a couple of directions that could go in. I think like a handheld grinder might kind of work. We'll see what we can maybe commission from somebody out there. Shot a level 3 whitetail yesterday that was a troll. Speaking of trolls, and while we're on a map that has the things, apparently turkeys can now troll, which I think is good. On one hand, guaranteed diamond space on the level are nice, but it's always, I think, a positive to have that little bit of like, anticipation, I guess, to actually claim the animal. So, first of all, sorry about your whitetail luck. The good news is whitetails are fairly common diamonds. Hopefully you can get another one. And yeah, that's something to look out for with the turkeys, since they can be a troll now. I'm really liking the new map, Connor, and that's the other thing that's been so cool about this. I talked about it on stream a good bit. They made it sound like the new great one, at least to me, wasn't going to be on Reventuli really early on, long before release. TK said something to the effect of like, there is a new great one, and then it was just the way that he said, but we're not going to tell you where or what it is. I was like, yeah, that's not on Reventuli. He just made it sound like we're going to have to go elsewhere, so I was anticipating having to leave Reventuli Coast pretty early on in order to go and look for a great one, because it was only a matter of time until it was going to be found, and I was kind of not looking forward to that, because I really like Reventuli. It's been a ton of fun to hunt, but the nice thing with this black bear grind and it being so enjoyable is that it's a really good back and forth. Like, anytime I do maybe kind of get bored of the grind, switching to a map that I still have largely not explored and generally have so much fun on, it's so nice to be able to just keep that kind of enjoyment of the game going. What's up, mistress? Shot a huge diamond moose yesterday on Reventuli. 299.4, very nice, man. You know what? I gotta put that in a video or something. Friday on stream we killed a diamond moose, not quite that big, 286? And it's something I've been wanting in the trophy lodge for a while. It finally filled a spot. I gotta make sure I put that in a video. Speaking of videos, boy, am I rambling today. Tomorrow on this channel will be the beginning of the 2021 hunting season, and I already know that even though I put 2021 in the title, that's not going to be immediately obvious to everybody, so some people are going to think I'm deer hunting in July. But it's last year's hunting content, so that aired on the Meat Hunters channel last Friday. It's been on Wild TV for the last week or so. I think today would be episode 3. I don't even know what it is. It's a hunt of TKs. I'm not sure exactly what he's hunting or where over on Wild TV. But anyway, the stuff that is my side of the Meat Hunters content starts on this channel tomorrow. Normal upload time, 5 p.m. Eastern. I'm quite happy with the way this first video turned out. There's a little bit of throwback stuff in it to 2020, kind of talking about mindset and all that, but especially for those that maybe haven't seen the 2020 hunting videos, that will kind of blend in quite nicely. Thank you, Cody. Coming from the Discord, I appreciate it, man. Sometimes I wonder, of the whatever it is, 45k that the everyone tag actually does, like how many people actually go and click it. Xander, thank you for the super chat. Go get that great one. We're gonna try, man. That would be kill number 991 if I've counted correctly. I tried to get to 1,000 before the stream, couldn't quite do it. But we'll pass 1,000 today for sure. I love your YouTube channel. Thank you, man. Any updates on the Angler? They did a live stream. I think it was kind of similar to the last one, where they kind of just did like a Q&A style thing, but I didn't happen to catch that one. I don't know if any new info came out. I assume if anything major came out, we would have known. Kyla is a good camera woman. I guess I didn't really have a whole lot of options here. So Kyla got here, season opened October 2nd. If I'm not mistaken, like 2 a.m. October 1st, I guess it really was. Kyla got here from Georgia, and then we had like one day to kind of do a little bit of prep. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I took her to my parents. Or no, we just did it here because I had a tree stand set up. Climbed into a tree, just kind of like got her familiar with that, because she had been in like blinds and tripods, right? But never an actual tree stand like that.
No, I didn't.
You had? Okay. Either way, it was still like a hey, let's get familiar with this kind of thing. And yeah, there just wasn't a lot of opportunity for her to practice with a camera, so genuinely, I look back on that now and I'm like, you know, the fact that she was able to, like, in the moment, alright, this deer's about to be shot, hasn't had that happen before, keep the camera on the deer as it runs away. I was like, you know what, I'm glad that I didn't do any, like, attempted training, because it probably would have been, like, information overload, but it was very cool. We had our turkey hunt together last year, some of you guys may recall, and all we saw were deer, not a single turkey. And our first deer hunt together, we actually got something, so that was pretty neat. If you haven't seen that video, that one's coming out tomorrow. Did I say we did it in a tree stand? I don't even think that's what I said. Maybe it is. I meant practice. I thought I said get in a tree stand. I don't know what I said. What map is this? Yes, this is Silver Ridge Peaks. How many kills? 991 is the current total. Acid is quite grumpy most days, actually. Hence the name. I don't know where the name comes from, actually. I never asked. What's up, Timothy? Shot a huge max score, max weight Cape Buffalo yesterday. That's something else I'm looking forward to, is jumping on Virunga and seeing what the reset looks like, but I'm saving that for way down the line. I gotta say, max score Cape Buffalo are one of my favorite max scores that you could possibly get. That's pretty neat. Is Eurobison still the same time? I have no idea. Hirschfelden got some changes, so my guess would be that it's not the same anymore. I should probably shoot these pronghorn, but I get the impression that it's good to not, I don't know, just focusing on one species on the grind like this oftentimes seems to yield the best results. Finally made it to a stream. Glad you can make it, Ethan. Appreciate you stopping in. By the way, possibly the reason for like a slower start here is I did like a half a run before the stream, couldn't quite do the whole thing. Maybe that's why there's less bears at some of these lakes. What's up, Jace? Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate the support. Did I miss anything? I'm pretty sure we only have one bear kill thus far, level 6. Hopefully, maybe, this spot will change that. That'll be a male. Not a big male, but that's one spot that if a bear spawns, is always a male. I don't get females over in that area. That was pushing it as being too high. It was too high. I mean, vertebrae will get him, but never want to have to track a bear for forever. The good news is he's actually moving towards my tent at the moment, so there we go. Alright, that'll help. Save us a little bit of time. Got my phone on this stream, my computer watching it too. Well, I certainly appreciate that, man. How many kills? That is 992 now. Did the populations reset with the new update? Everything except for, funny enough, Silver Ridge Peaks got a reset, which, now that I think of it, you know, I've started looking at Call of the Wild in more of like a long-term sense. And what I mean by that is, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, if we had an update like this that reset everything, by now I would have been on every map. I would have been trying to, you know, get every single diamond, get all the cool stuff that I can. Now I'm looking at them like I got 9 reset maps to go and check out whenever I get bored of this, or whenever I get bored of Reventuli, etc., etc. There's just all this new stuff to go and explore. So I'm really excited, but I'm pushing that stuff down the road so that it's new stuff for a long time. Lumberjack DLC. Give us chainsaws to cut down trees and weed eaters to cut down grass and reeds. I'd work hard for new shooting lanes. I've thought about that, I really have. You know, the amount of trees on a map, 64 square kilometers, it might be a bit much, because I would think the only way to feasibly do it would be have like each tree almost have an ID or something, so that when your individual map loads, it knows which one to, you know, not render or to render as being a cut down tree. I don't know if that becomes a problem, but you know, if you've played Farming Simulator, you can do some logging there, and there are quite a few trees. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, trees can regrow. Assuming that's kind of how they do it. Maybe it's feasible. I'd like some shooting lane customizability is probably the wrong word, but something to that effect. The Hunter123, thank you for the super chat. I hope the great one spawns as soon as possible. I think I'm at the point where I'd be pretty happy if it would spawn anytime. I do want a gold rare out of this if I can get that lucky. We've had 4 rares now, all of which have been level 5 or under. We've been a little unfortunate there. By the way, it's not recorded. I'll probably throw the screenshot in a video though. At this spot, I had a random bear just stand up out of the reeds after I started shooting. Went and shot that one. It ended up being a level 9, but first roll of the grind. And I didn't record it anyways, so no sadness to be had with that particular troll. Man, I hope one of those shots hit. I think you're probably right, Bottom Boy. It would be nice, though, even if it was... And branches would be, you know, even more difficult because, you know, how many more of those are there that you'd have to deal with. But if you could, you know, set up a tree stand, remove some branches, I'd like it. My brother wants to know what level you are. Level 60. That is the max level. I'd say I hit level 60 sometime in late 2017. It's been a while. Got a Cinnamon 6 that scored gold. That's awesome, man. I think Cinnamon might be my favorite. They're just that, between blonde, brown, and cinnamon, that kind of brightish red color, that's just, they stand out the most by far. What is the best time to hunt bear? On Silver Ridge Peaks, I would say the best time is probably starting around 1600, maybe 1630. You can see it's about 1640 here. It's dependent. A lot of bears seem to be late getting into their zones. So what I do and what you'll see me do throughout the stream here is basically check every lake twice. I'll go early to all the spots, and then I'll go late to all the spots, just to, you know, try to get as many as possible in that, what would it be, 45-minute window from 1600 to 1900? Favorite Great One variant? I like the Fabled Cream and Fabled Spirit. Is it, I forget which one it is. The Cream, I think, is spelled wrong. It's spelled, like, Foulbed, I think. So that's the only thing that would maybe make me not want that, because then my screenshot's forever going to be a typo. That would just irritate me. But the fur type itself is my favorite, I think. I shot at 28.9 links. That is 0.1 below max. Still far bigger than any I've ever got. Are you going to settle for just one of the variants? I don't know. I think if we... I like them all. Let me say that first. I like them all. If we get one within 2,000 kills, maybe 2,500 kills, I'm likely to do another grind. Just because it would be pretty quick. And my whitetail, you know, going back to 2020, was 1,600, 1,650 kills. You know, a little bit of room for error in there with my counting, but that took me 45 days. Grinding then wasn't what it is now. Like, no one really knew what they were talking about. I didn't know what I was talking about. I was making stuff up as I went, and it ultimately ended up working out. 2,000 kills now. I'm at about 1,000. How long have we known? A little over a week? Week and a half, maybe? It won't take nearly as long to get to that point. And by the way, I'm nowhere near the top for kills. I know there's a couple of people with definitely over 2,000. I'm guessing there's some with over 3,000, just based on the amount of diamonds that have been killed by some. How do you level up handguns fast? I've done videos on that. The game has changed slightly since then. I think if you buy the 22 pistol and hunt like geese and stuff, you could level up pretty easily. Now, you can't kill as many geese in a flock as you used to be able to. This new update, because they're faster, it's pretty tough to get a ton, but even still it might be the best. 1,600 kills in myself? It's pretty cool to see that, honestly. You know, I like that. I really like that side of things. When I shot my Great One Whitetail, again, I maybe had the third one ever killed, and I don't know which of the first two it was, and I can't promise this is accurate information, but somebody said that the first one was like pop reset spammed in or something. Regardless, one of the first couple that was shot. And I remember like some of the comments and stuff, because, you know, I had 1,600 kills, was just kind of like, okay, well, no one's ever going to kill one because no one can play the game in the amount that you do. Now I have less kills than like everybody that plays. And I think that's good. I think that makes it clear that great ones aren't aren't only exclusively for those who can put in the most amount of hours. Because I still can put in a lot of hours. I just, because I have other stuff to do with other videos and all that kind of stuff, most people, I think, tend to outpace me in terms of Great One grinds that are doing it. That would count as shotgun score? Are you talking about the thing I said? Because I said 22 pistol, not the 410. And I actually don't know which that counts as, because it's gone... I believe there was a time when it was handgun, but it's now shotgun, or maybe it's vice versa. Best map for whitetails? I would argue it's probably Reventuli Coast. I haven't done enough whitetail hunting there to say that 100%, but based on what I've seen, and honestly the amount of Great One grinds I'm seeing happening on Reventuli Coast from people that have done a ton on Rancho and stuff like that, that would lead me to believe probably Reventuli Coast is going to end up being the best in the grand scheme of things. Let's go, I guess here. There's probably not going to be anything here, but we'll check. I'm a stay-at-home parent. I have nothing but time. Hey, I mean, if you can put that time in, hopefully it works out. I beat my brother by 17 in MLB The Show. Are you the older brother? He used to have... My brother and I used to play Madden against each other all the time. And generally, it would be this thing, because both of us are super competitive, but we also weren't like try to crush the other player. It was always like try to keep it close. The amount of times that in a, you know, dumb effort to not win by a blowout, that the other player would then win. I don't know, it made it interesting, I guess. You're the older one? I felt like that was normally the way it went. Usually, me being the older brother, I would, I guess from the time I was able to put in, or just the fact that I was older and maybe understood strategy better. We used to even Pokemon battle. I remember him beating me one time, and I was so annoyed, because I was so convinced his team was worse than mine. But maybe he actually was doing strategy, and I was just too dumb. Talking about football, who is going to be y'all's starting QB? I wouldn't be shocked if week 1 is Trubisky, and I also wouldn't be upset if that's the case. Pickett's going to be the starter by week 8. I'd be very confident in saying that. The other thing is, let me pull that up because I forget how that was pronounced already. Apparently, it is no longer Heinz Field. Heinz didn't renew the naming rights. Acrisure Stadium or something like that? I hate it, I'm not gonna lie. Not a fan of that name. Don't know how to say it. Acrisure, maybe? I'm probably just gonna call it Heinz Field. Do you have an issue with bobcat, yotes, or bears? My cabin has been getting more and more predators recently. Is this like real life, I guess? Where are you from and where are you at now? I'm from PA and still live in PA. I moved about 35-40 minutes south of where I was, or like where I grew up. It seems to be working out in terms of whitetail hunting anyway, but mostly I wasn't necessarily looking to move this far. I was looking to move in this general area, maybe not quite this far away, but Kyla?
Who's Kylie?
Kyla found, I don't know how that even happened.
Wow.
Kyla found this spot. I don't know where the E came from. And I wasn't looking for ground, really. Like, I was looking for a backyard big enough to shoot my bow in, basically, to stay practiced. Because I couldn't do that in my apartment. It's pronounced kayak? Oh, thank you. And, anyway. It was almost exactly a year ago. She was visiting for the 4th of July, which, I don't know, I like to go back and look at the course of events that led to things happening that's so unlikely, I guess. When did you come out? Did you come out on the 4th? You came out the day before, I think. It was like a Friday night, and Kyla realized she had like 3 days off, so we just decided she was gonna fly out here, hung out for the 4th, and then on her way back, if I'm not mistaken, like in the truck on the way to Pittsburgh, or just before maybe, she found this particular place and sent me the link, and of course I had to go and check it out by myself because Kyla was back in Georgia by then. And I don't know, sometimes I wonder, like, if she didn't come out to visit for the 4th of July on literally a spur of the moment, like, why the heck not type of trip, do we end up living here? Probably not, if I had to guess. How far do you live outside of Pittsburgh? It's still about an 1.5-hour drive. Have you heard of Kendall Gray? Yes. Unpopular opinion, Hershey is overrated. Now, when you say Hershey, do you mean the place or the chocolate? On my bear grind, 100 kills in and 2 diamond. That's really good, dude. What I'm seeing generally from a lot of people is close to 1 diamond per 200 kills, something like that. My Baker Mayfield opinions, Keith, or Kif, I don't know how to say your name. I'm not a huge fan of the guy. I think I can appreciate the underdog mentality and the walk-on and all that kind of stuff that he did in college. Not all of his actions in college, obviously. But like the whole walk-on and then get drafted by literally a team that had been 1-31 the previous 2 seasons and win a playoff game within like 3 years. Like, not a lot of guys can end up doing that, but on the other hand, he's just got the whole, like, you know, I decide when I'm gonna play or not if I'm injured, and apparently there's the story that he played like 30 hours of Halo in the lead up to the Packers game in which he threw 4 interceptions, so that's a little odd, but no, I hope he does good in Carolina. I also think the Browns absolutely treated him horribly. You can't help but see the irony, I think. There's all their reporting, like, the Browns wanted an adult in the room, but for some reason they got Deshaun Watson of all people. I don't know. He's a guy that can get you to the playoffs. Here's a good comparison. He's way better than Trent Dilfer. Let's not... I'm trying to think of, like, a... Joe Flacco. There's a good one. Plenty capable of making the throws when needed, but he's not going to Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen you through an entire season. Like, he needs a running game or like a really good defense structure around him to make him that guy that can get you to the playoffs, but lots of teams have done that, even in recent times. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo was 1 throw away from winning the Super Bowl. That's a very respectable position to play as the more or less game manager. I don't know that he's, you know, put the team on his back guy a lot. He can be in scenarios. What gun? Primarily the 300. You'll see me use the 308 some as well when I need additional shots, generally. Pretty much comes down to that. Even Alex Smith, yeah. He had a couple of playoff wins, if I'm not mistaken. The one against the Saints is the one that I recall the most. I don't know if he had any others or not. The thing was, that was like the whole Kaepernick era too. Do you hunt in real life? I do. Actually, tomorrow on this channel will be the first episode of the 2021 season. That, you know, being approximately 10 months? 10 months, yeah, since that ended. Which was a while ago, but all those videos are finally starting to come out. When you did your Red Deer grind, did you only kill 6s and above, or did you just kill every male? I killed every male for about 5,400 kills, and then I started leaving anything with a minimum weight estimate, which I haven't shot a red deer in so long, I don't even know what that is. Is it 160 to 200? No. 160 to 180? 150 to 180, that's what it is. If that was the weight estimate, I left it go. And within 200 kills, I got my gray one, which quite frankly probably means that did absolutely nothing for me. It was just dumb luck. But I don't know that. I can't confirm it. With the black bear, I've seen a good number of people have been doing like herd management and having success. At the same time, a bunch of people have been not doing herd management or have been having no success doing herd management. I'm just not doing it. I'm just shooting everything and seeing how we do. Hope we get a big male commercial break. It's the same commercial break in this one as the last one. There is some stuff that's maybe not going to entirely make sense. Like, the beginning of the video is still the same, you know, last week on Meat Hunter stuff, even though there was no last week on my channel, but it's the same video. And I think the introduction stuff being there is good. And then the commercial break. The biggest reason it's there, genuinely, is because those episodes were made for TV. Anybody that maybe hasn't heard yet, they are also airing on Wild TV every, I think it's Monday at like 11 a.m., Tuesday at 1:30 a.m. or something. That's a weird time. And then Friday at 7, Saturday at 9, something like that. Anyway, they're made with commercials in mind, and when there is that like 10-second recap or whatever from the lead into commercial to the come out of commercial, I just threw our little Meat Hunters ad in there because otherwise it's weird when you see the same thing happen back to back. If anyone doesn't believe in that strategy, talk to my 31 level 9s and a great one in 900 kills. A diamond every 30 kills just seems insane. Now, here's my question to you then. How many... Well, let me just put it this way. How long of a time period were those 900 kills over? Because generally what I have found, and what it seems a lot of people are finding, at least in terms of black bear, is you start to kill like 7 bears per run. So to kill 900, that's going to take you a long time. You may get one just as fast by killing everything. You know what I mean? Did you enjoy grinding for the great ones you have? The whitetail was fun because it was unexplored territory, but it was also... There was so much unknown. I was so unsure if anything I was doing whatsoever was going to help a darn thing. You know, nobody had really done any great one grinding to that point. I try to not make it sound like I invented it, because I don't think I did. I really don't know where I got the idea. But, you know, as far as I'm aware, there weren't a lot of people, or maybe anybody out there, just shooting hundreds and hundreds of whitetail bucks in order to try to get a great one in whatever this would have been, April and May of 2020. So just because I didn't know what I was doing, is kind of like, I might be wasting my time. I don't know if this is worth it. So there was that aspect of maybe not being as fun, not knowing what I was getting into. In the red deer grind, I mean, I enjoy Call of the Wild, I had fun with it, but the time of year was so unfortunate because, like, it was the rut. I was doing a lot of real life deer hunting then. I just didn't get to spend the time at the beginning, and then, you know, there's 50 great ones posted by the time the season's over, probably more than that. The interest wasn't quite as high by that point. I still, you know, I still had fun with it, I still enjoyed it, but not to the same level that I probably otherwise would have. There's a bear in there. I don't know if we hit it well or not. Oh, we did. Good deal. Who are you? You're that female. Only like 20% of my red deer pop was 150 to 180, so I think black bear would still be easier with the strat. If your strategy specifically, I guess here's what I'd say, because here's what's, I don't understand black bear herd management as it's being done. Oh no. This is gonna slow us down a good bit. Anyway, most people are shooting 6s and above. And it sounds, like I said, 7 to 15 is the numbers that have been reported by some creators that are doing it. And, maybe if they were only shooting minimum weights, so like, or sorry, leaving minimum weights, so anything level 3 and below would be left, that percentage might make more sense. But as for, you know, 6s and up, real quick you're going to get a bunch of 5s and 4s, because there are a bunch of 5s and 4s. I think the Great One Bears look good, but I think they missed an opportunity to do a battle-scarred vert type. Black Bear aren't, I mean, they will fight each other, but they're not quite as notorious, I guess, for that. Because here, holy, there's a bunch of bears tucked into there. I think the other side of it is, eventually, we're bound to have like a grizzly or a brown bear, some other bear Great One. And maybe they're best saving a battle scarred for something that's a little more known or notorious for that. I just think it could diminish the value. You know, you've been around the community for quite some time, you probably know how it is. Anything that's even remotely similar, immediately the devs are just going to be accused of copy and paste. So they're probably best just making it unique to whatever future species that is. Nice, James. How many bucks have you killed in your real life? 7. 7, yes. I just tried to do that count the other day, and I was sure it was 7, and then I was sure it was 6, but I guess I was miscounting something because it is 7. I think we'll get a Grizzly rework next update. I mean, you look at... And I still think... They're more modeled after Kodiak bears, if you ask me. I still think they're decent, but now you compare to brown bear and black bear, and grizzlies are just not up to par. Imagine a great one bear like those famous bears online that have lost one or both front paws and they walk on their hind legs. Oh my god, that'd be terrifying though. You just go walking through Silver Ridge Peaks and it's just a bear like bipedal walking around. 7 seems so small of a number. At my age, it puts me at approximately $1 every 2 years, and we only have 1 buck tag, so I filled about 50% of my buck tags. Yes, West Virginia and Tennessee this fall. Will is going to shoot bigger males than me, and hopefully somehow we can add some of that film in too. We'll see how we can make things work. Tips for lynx on Reventuli. I don't know much about them. I think they drink 3 to 7 or something like that. Why they removed lynx drink time on Medved and then gave him one on Reventuli is absolutely beyond me. But that's a thing. They did that. So, yeah, I guess, you know, just hunt the lakes early in the morning. They seem to be all over the map. We can shoot 3 as long as one's 8 points plus. Yeah, like, getting 1 tag a year, it requires you to be selective in a way that you're bound to pass up things. Now, it must work, right? Literally, the first one you shoot has to be 8 points plus. You can't bet on yourself killing an 8 point later, can you? Because otherwise you're breaking the law. Well, you're breaking the law if you don't then successfully do that. What's your biggest IRL buck? Last year I shot a buck far bigger than anything I had any business killing. My biggest buck prior to 2021 had been about 110-inch 9-point. Last year I got 180-inch 14-point on my property here. The net score, net non-typical, is 171 and 3/8. But personally I care about gross score and like the, you know, how much antlers he carrying. That's basically what I'm getting at. Yeah, that you'll see in the real life hunting videos in, I think it's late September. It's crazy, you know, you hear 13 episodes, and it's like, okay, that's not that much. They started a week ago. It's gonna be late September until the last one airs. But yeah, I guess I try to make it clear when I'm saying that I'm not some incredible PA hunter who just is better than everybody else and can kill a deer of that size. I had absolutely no business killing that. It just worked out. I want to make... Did she see my hand move, or what was that? I want to make a video where I talk about, I guess, some of the story behind it. Because even though 22.5 minutes is a long video, a lot of stuff still is required to be cut out. Oh, she's sleeping. I didn't even see that. Thank you, Hudson. But anyway, there's one thing that I really want to make clear in that video. I'll even talk about it now since we're just running around shooting black bear ad nauseum. When that buck actually stepped out, because we had him on trail camera, literally earlier that day, and I'll tell more of this story later, but by pure dumb luck, I checked the trail camera approximately 8-9 hours after he had walked through. I hunted at my parents the day before, and I had asked Kyla because she wasn't feeling that good. I was like, hey, can you check the trail camera, or at least pull the card while I'm gone? And she wasn't feeling too good, didn't do it. If she did pull the card out, and there was zero chance I'd have checked it again the next day, and I'd never know that buck went through, probably until the season was already over. Anyway, when he actually stepped out, because even though we had him on camera and I knew the general direction that he went, you know, it's 8 hours, how far has he traveled, whatever. It's the only deer I saw that hunt. I get the camera on him, and I was terrified's not the right word. Scared for sure, but not scared in the sense like, oh my god, he's gonna run over here and kill me. Scared in the sense like when you're in school and there's a test and you forgot about it and you're just not prepared. I felt so unprepared for a deer of that caliber. Because you'd see all the outdoor media and stuff like, you know, a old buck, a big buck like this is so smart, you know, you can't do anything, they're gonna catch you. And I just had like no idea what I was doing. I mean, ultimately I ended up getting them, so I guess I had some idea what I was doing. But I felt so out of my element with something of that size. What are you talking about? The buck that I killed last year. Just mini hunting stories, I guess. Do you think the 454 could be a good black bear Great One grind weapon, at least until it's empty, then switch to the 300? At certain lakes, when you're under maybe like 130 meters, probably. At that point, I don't know that you're gaining a whole lot, because the 308 is going to be less recoil and more or less the same power. I've got 40 to 50 hours, and I've got a Great One black bear. You don't have it yet? Yeah, it's all random. How old were you when you killed your first deer? I was 10 years old. It was my first year deer hunting where I will say the gun will be placed in my hand, because as a mentored youth, you don't actually carry the weapon. Your mentor, in this case my dad, carries the weapon, and then, like, you know, I think you can hold the weapon when you're there, but I'm pretty sure as a mentored youth you can't actually carry the weapon into the field. Regardless, I had hunted with my dad a bit when I was younger. I mean, I did small game hunting at the age of like 6, but I had deer hunted a little bit at maybe age 7 or 8, where if a deer came out, Dad would have shot it. I was just there to like experience it and learn some. Anyway, it was my second deer hunt ever, and a little 5-point stepped out, and I was fortunate enough, after some craziness with Dad trying to shoot one of the does that was there, and then the 5-point appeared and all this, that I got to get a shot off, and I think it was like 110 yards. By some miracle, because I don't remember trying to aim at all, I got him in the heart. It can't possibly be this way, but my recollection is more or less like we were in this hunting tower thing. My recollection is like Dad putting the gun down for me to grab, and the crosshairs just being on it. I must have aligned to something, but I just don't remember it. CJ the Gamer, thank you so much for the super chat. I certainly appreciate you, man. Thank you for the support. Maybe that's the way to do it, Bottom Boy. I don't know what I want to do. Like, once the video drops, and I'll wait till it drops on my channel, not just the Meat Hunters release, I do want to make like either a Q&A live stream or something to just chat about some of the stuff, because again, you can't fill in every detail in 22.5 minutes, which is insane, because I've done every other hunting video in my last couple years in less time than that. But I don't know, there's a lot that goes into that story for sure. Did you do any turkey hunting in West Virginia this year? This year, technically, no. Will and I had talked about it, about maybe going down to hunt, and then we got Shadow, and we still haven't figured out how we're gonna travel with this dog in existence yet, because she does not like when we leave.
She doesn't like when you leave. There's a difference.
She was depressed the whole time you were gone.
The second you are out of the, like, she can't physically see you, it is her worst.
She does freak out and howl and all this. Was that the book you were talking about? Your first real-life diamond? I think I might have called it a real-life great one, but yeah, more or less. I feel like the story isn't even fully over until you get the mount back. I'm definitely gonna film that. Another bizarre case of luck. My brother works pretty close to where we live, which is fairly far from where he lives. He's still at my parents at the moment. He's a couple years younger than me, a year and a half younger than me. Anyway, he works with a guy who's also a pretty big hunter, and he's shot a couple of nice bucks around here, and he's had them mounted by this taxidermist who does really good work. And he recommended him, and I've, you know, gone back and forth talking with the guy about like exactly what I want to get done and all this, and he's just super, what's the word, like, I guess open to doing exactly what I want done, and I just think it's really cool. A lot of taxidermists, and I really, if anybody here is a taxidermist and does this, I'm not trying to speak poorly about it, it's like a business practice. A lot of them kind of require you to like bring your deer in, choose the pose that day, and it's a whirlwind when you kill like a really nice buck. Like, what am I gonna do? You know, how do I want it to look? Especially, you know, we had just moved into this place a couple months prior. The living room didn't even look anything like it does now, so... Anyway, like, I haven't even had to fully choose the pose yet. I guess you'll order the form when I get to that point, but that's been useful to be able to, you know, talk through every little detail. No worries, Danny. Will you try the Way of the Hunter when it comes out? I definitely intend to, yeah. Trail cam went off today. There was a big 15 point. You have a deer with 15 points already? If you're in the south, I could maybe see that. Here, like, deer are just kind of... You might start to get a 10th point. I guess if you had enough stickers. Mine by now might have had 14 visible. I bet it would have been more like still 10. I don't know if the stickers would have been split off yet. Really helpful to know I'm an apprentice for a taxidermist. Yeah, like I said, I understand, like, for ordering in bulk and therefore business reasons, it makes a lot of sense to kind of have the individual choose their, I don't even know where I'm going here, choose their form or their pose that day. But it definitely, in terms of, like, call it customer satisfaction, I've only had 2 deer mounted counting this one. The last experience was just like a whirlwind of I don't even know what the heck's going on, and not really feeling like I would have got it exactly what I wanted had I had the time to think through it. This has definitely been a much better experience. What about trying the angler when it comes out? I intend to do a good bit of that one. Regardless of the way that both of those games end up going, I intend to do a good bit of content on both. Even if it's, maybe knock on wood, but even if it's somewhere in the realm of Hunting Sim 2, I'll still do at least as much content as I did on Hunting Sim 2. We have a 3-legged bear on camera. The bear has legs? What?
I didn't read it as 3, I read it as just...
There is a legged bear on camera? We've never had anything. We do have one that's walking around with like a broken ankle or something. A deer, not a bear. I don't think we've ever had any deer with 3 legs. I knew a couple people that had those kind of things on camera though. How's the grind going? Going good. I've lost track of how many we've killed here. It's been a shorter run, or a slower run I might call it. We're over 20 though, so I guess we're not doing too bad. That would put us at about 1,010 kills, something like that. I lost track in talking about deers. Double 10s of those big lakes are undefeated. Dude, it's the difference between getting to every spot that I want to in a run and having to almost split my runs between, you know, multiple, or split the lakes between multiple runs is maybe the way to say it. Do you ever fish in real life? Oh my, hello. That's an albino or something. Ah! Help! I'm gonna die. Was it you? I have no idea if we got that. Holy. I think we did. I don't have medkits. I don't have room in my loadout for this, dude. Don't you kill me. Oh my god. Yeah, I got the spawn at the same place. It's fine. Cowhawk, man. Goodness gracious. Which map is this? This is Silver Ridge Peaks. Alright, take 2. Did we kill the right elk? We did. Cool. That is interesting animal, or potentially trophy animal number 4 on this grind that's not a black bear. We've had a level 5 troll Rocky Mountain elk. We've had 2 diamond turkeys, and now an albino. Pretty sweet. I don't know that we've had a single player rare elk. I've had 2 albinos in multiplayer, I want to say. Winners, thank you for the 70 months, by the way. Welcome back. Flinter stream and Tylenol, cure for the headaches. Hopefully your headache goes away, man. Those were no fun. Would you ever hunt in Maryland? Specifically, I want to go there for Sika deer. It's Maryland, right? Has Sika deer? I think so. Hmm? Yeah. I'm just trying to remember if that's the state. I think it's... I always get states confused. Eastern Shore? Yeah, that's what I thought. Any luck so far? I don't know if you caught the albino elk there we just killed. Nothing for bears, but at least we had that. Have you ever hunted for bear in real life? I've never even had a bear tag. I've never, in all the hours I've spent deer hunting, I've never seen a bear. I thought I saw a bear one time. That ended up being my only archery buck. It was almost dark. It's November 1st or something like that, if I remember right. And I just see this really dark figure emerge on the other end of the field. I was like, oh, there's a bear out there. I gotta get my binoculars up. And all I see is this like big swooping main beam. And I switched from observation mode to get my grunt call and to make as much noise as possible mode because it was gonna be dark in like 2 minutes. Fortunately, again, pure dumb, can't make this up kind of luck. I didn't even know like what kind of sounds I was making with the grunt call. I would later find out that I was more or less imitating like a buck breeding a doe. And I also had the luck of a spike walking through there earlier. Now this I did take into account. That buck, my 9-point archery buck, picked up the scent of that spike and just started running. Like I got him so fired up with my dumb luck grunt call that he probably got there in barely over a minute. And I managed to shoot him at 20 yards. I had to yell to get him to stop. What's up, Ben? My dad had a brown and cinnamon black bear in real life. We have rugs of them. That's pretty cool. We had one at my dad's property. I don't even know what to call it. It had like a brown patch on the back of its neck. Mostly just jet black, but a good chunk of brown as well. How many trophy lodges do you have? Too many. 9 Spring Creek Manor and 3 Saseka Safari. You can't even make this many Spring Creek Manors anymore. The max is now 5. But because they were made prior to that max, they're still there, fortunately. Is there a video of this hunt? The archery one? Unfortunately not. I was 19? Freshman in college, as I recall. Yeah, I would have been. But yeah, I wasn't filming then. When did I may have attempted to film earlier that year. I'm trying to remember what year the piebald fawn was run around. There was a piebald that we had for, it was actually about 3 years. It got to be a 2.5-year-old doe. And that particular year, when it turned 2.5, I tried to hunt it. and tried to film it with a horrible little, what are those called? The something cam. No, camcorder. That's what I meant. The quality would have been terrible, but that might have been that same year. I don't know. But either way, I didn't have a camera on that hunt. Danny, thank you for the super chat. The buck wanted to send the spike to horny jail. He wanted to, I mean, he was probably going to try and kill it. I haven't seen a deer that. No, I have seen one other deer that route up. I did some, man, this is the, I love telling this story because it is a indicator of, I guess, maybe how far I've come as a hunter or how dumb I was at one time. So I brought my climbing stand into this area, and the first time I wanted to hunt there, there's this tree, it's just perfect. It's in the middle of this spot where you could hunt the trail above or below, both about 20 yards. And it was in decent cover, despite the fact that it was right in the middle. Problem was, for a climber, there's this huge branch about 4 foot up, so you can't get around that. So I hunted a different tree that day. It may have even been the year before, I don't know, but I had my dad come with me with a chainsaw and we cut this branch off so I could take the climber up. Well, unfortunately, I guess we didn't get the branch cut close enough to the tree, or maybe I just was using the climber incorrectly. I don't know, I was young and dumb. I couldn't get the climber to go over this now nub of the branch. So literally, and if you've ever used a climbing stand, you'll know you angle the climber up a lot, because as you go up the tree gets narrower and you'll level out. Well, because I'm only about 4 foot up the tree, if that, I'm sitting there at this stupid angle. I mean, like, uncomfortable angle. But I'm here, I carried my climbing stand all the way down, and I'm just annoyed, I guess, that I couldn't hunt this place like I wanted to. But instead of, like, doing anything about it, I just sat there for a while. And then, to add insult to stupidity, it started to hit my grunt collar. And I did, like, a buck roar, if anybody's unfamiliar with that. It's just like a long, drawn-out, aggressive grunt. And within 10 minutes, it took a little while, I hear one back. And I, like, close. And I was just like, oh no, I've made a horrible mistake. Here's this beautiful 10-point. Just so bristled up and mad with his doe that I'm in his territory. But the problem was, while he's looking for another deer and distracted, the doe is obviously doing her thing, and she sees my horribly stupid mistake of hanging 3 feet off the ground at like 45-degree angle, spun around, and of course he followed her. I wish that was on film. Not only like the vocalizations with the deer, but just me being really stupid and sitting at that angle at 3 feet off the ground. I think Will and I would have good synergy for a podcast. Hunter called the wild and removing my tents and tripods on a rancho. Do you know why? I would assume they did something with, like, collision detection and stuff, and it's just having an issue. My dad used to say, only way you're gonna kill a deer is if a buck gets his antlers tangled in your platform and breaks his neck, because I was scared to go too high. I've always had a tendency to go pretty high up in the tree. Other than that hunt, obviously. My dad usually says I go too high. And then, this could have been the same year for all I know. Last time I used my climbing stand, I somehow, again, if you've used a climbing stand, you'll kind of know how it works. I got everything like unhooked and ready to go, and I forgot to strap my feet into the bottom platform. And my attempt to balance myself on the top platform and strap my feet in, I guess failed. The top platform tilted, and I did fall backwards, but like the back of my neck kinda caught on the top and kept me from just tumbling backwards and falling, I don't know, 30 feet. I'd have probably, it was kind of all rocks and stuff. I'd have probably been pretty messed up. I was young enough that I maybe could have survived that, but it wouldn't have been good. Safety harness had been undone and stuff too, because I thought I was ready to go. Erin gets so mad when we turn her planning session into story time. It's all story time. It's the, if there's one thing I could listen to for forever, it's just hunting stories from people. Sounds good, Winners. Appreciate you stopping in. What is the most scenic hunting spot you've been to in real life? Well, it's not a... There's a place in... Oh, what's the name of that area? I'm drawing a blank. What is that called? Hold on, I'll look it up. There's a large creek. It's not Clear Creek, though. I'm trying to find the name of it. I guess it's really not that relevant. It's Cook's Forest State Park area. Not in the state park, obviously. My uncles have a camp up there, and there is a place that overlooks the whole thing. I think it's called Vista View, or maybe that's what they call it. It's pretty scenic, but it's not a hunting spot. It's in the area we were hunting, like not super close, but sort of overlooks some of it. Most scenic actual hunting spot. I don't know. I don't hunt a lot of scenic areas, I guess. Yeah, poor Kyla on that West Virginia trip. It was our first evening hunting, right? It was, yeah. So we have this double tree stand thing set up, and I look over, and Kyla's just asleep. Now, Kyla doesn't like warm weather. It's about 85 degrees, and she could never sleep in this unless she's just horribly sick. To her credit, she stuck it out, filmed the couple of deer we saw that hunt. I think she made it all the evening hunts. The morning hunts I went on my own, which that also turned detrimental the one day. Really cool hunt, but unfortunate by the end. That was the Slim Jim trip, yes. All because, if I'm not mistaken, genuinely we tried to cut the trip in half, make it about a 2.5 hour stop at the gas station. Like, it's close to a 5-hour drive, so 2.5 hours, stop, go the rest. I guess if we just had stopped at like a not horribly rundown gas station that looked like it hadn't had new produce is the wrong word. New items stocked in the last 20 years, things might have turned out better. Did we get them all? I think there's one that got away. How long are we streaming? Another hour. I feel like I've been caught up in story time this entire stream. Would you ever hunt mule deer? I hunted mule deer in Saskatchewan 2 years ago, and it was awesome. I think I hear that other bear. Plan on going again this fall. Yeah, mule deer's on my bucket list for sure. I talked about this on stream some too, so I won't get too far into telling the same story all over again. But we had planned on trying to hunt pronghorn this fall in Wyoming. Ended up not getting drawn for that. And even prior to that, I don't know, something just clicked from seeing some YouTube videos and stuff. Primarily on the Exodus Outdoor Gear channel, they do this series called Whitetail Cribs. They visit people's houses with, you know, effectively built-in trophy rooms into their house. And it was just in seeing like the variety in whitetail antlers and stuff, it just kind of reaffirmed my passion to just focus on big whitetails. And I don't know, I'll still hunt mule deer, I'll still hunt pronghorn, I'll still hunt elk, but I don't think I'm going to focus on as many other species stuff as I had planned on doing maybe 3 years ago. Mac, thank you. I don't know why that says you renewed. These alerts are so weird. Thank you for the new membership. Appreciate you, man. If you're not in the Discord already, be sure to join that. Link up your YouTube, get the member roll, get all that good stuff, and enjoy the green name and emojis here in chat. Wait, are you in Saskatchewan, Mistress? Yeah, like Acid said. That's it. There was a guy on Facebook last night. Let me fast travel real quick. I think we're going here. Bragging about shooting a deer at 500 yards all the time with the 308. Instead of 25-06 is too small. I just shared a photo of my deer and said it worked fine here. You know, that's the... Who was it? Is it John Eberhard? There's somebody that... I think it's John Eberhard. A fairly big, like, public land hunter and stuff. Has a quote that's saying basically hunting is ego-driven by nature, which it kind of is. I don't think it has to be. Big deer hunting antlers, I guess, is ego-driven in some way. I don't look at it like that, but I definitely understand the point, and I think it's relevant. As much kind of negative attention as hunting can get, I don't think hunters have the room to be criticizing the way others are hunting when it's legal. I don't know, that always bugs me. Is it Mistress or My Stress? It is Mistress.
My stress.
My stress indeed. Shot a nice muley a year ago. I think that's... I'd be happy with any mule deer buck, honestly, but if over the course of the next 20 years, if I can get like one nice mule deer buck out of maybe 3 or 4 hunts, I'd be thrilled. My stress equals modding YouTube streams. At least I'm not responsible for that. What time do brown bears drink on Reventuli? I don't know.
Go look and find out yourself.
I think it's midnight-ish. I don't know the answer to that one. Nothing wrong with antler hunting as long as you can respect the game. Yeah, I have a hard time putting it into words. Like why I don't consider myself a trophy hunter, but why I do still hunt for big antlers. Like that's a really tough thing to dictate. But the best way I can describe it is the antlers are a byproduct of the animal's age, and really I'm more about hunting like old deer. Like a deer that is, you know, passed down his genetics for, you know, several years. A deer that's reached maturity, ideally. It was Bill Winke. A lot of you guys will know him too. I was listening to him on a podcast in 2017 yesterday. I just listen to deer hunting podcasts when I mow the grass for 8 hours a weekend or whatever it takes me. And he was saying like a 3.5-year-old deer in Pennsylvania is like an old deer. 2.5-year-old sort of like a middle-aged deer. So even 3.5 for me is like what I'm looking for. But ideally, if I can get above 4, I'm achieving my goal here of shooting a deer that's reached maturity and all those factors that I mentioned. Those deer just happen to have the biggest antlers generally. Now, if there were 2 deer, one that's 5 and one that's 6 standing side by side and the 5-year-old's bigger, yeah, I'm going to shoot the 5-year-old. But I don't look at it in the sense that I'm doing it just for the antlers that hang on the wall. Like, it's the size of the animal, there's more meat to it. It's the, I think, ethics of shooting an older animal in that, like I said, they've passed their genetics and all that. All the stuff. Lucky? Gray? That guy? I didn't see that. Wait, if you guys aren't friends, what did I miss?
Mistress said that she's taking away the friendship for you and her since you didn't know where she
I'd mod for you. I don't know how I didn't know this. I'm kind of... I seriously thought you were in British Columbia. I really did. Or Ontario for some reason. Or even Quebec. Maybe I've just heard you say these things and I'm like, oh, that's where she lives. I don't know. Do you know what gun you're using on the Great One? I'm going to use the Hawk Edge CB70 again. I think it's just going to be my Great One weapon. The cool thing about it is that because it's a bow and it's got the 3 different arrows, or arrow sizes, you can take literally any animal in the game with it. So even if in the future they come out with a Class 1 Great One or a Class 9 Great One, whatever it may be, I can at least attempt to take it with the Hawk Edge. So my goal is to be able to take every Great One, you know, down the road with the same weapon. Now, if we get lucky, and I talked about that earlier, if we can maybe get a Great One Black Bear within about 2,000 kills, I may try to do a second grind. We'll see how I'm feeling about the grind by that time. For the second one, I'd probably use a different weapon, but, you know, first one I want to go with the same thing. That poor bear didn't deserve what he got. I'd be an active participant in Kyla's streams. I think Kyla just needs to do it. Just gotta send it on a stream. What'd you say? Gross. Great One pheasant with the hawk head. Oh god, yeah, I hadn't considered that side of things. You got a good point there. What's up, Elias? Should I buy Reventuli for a whitetail Great One or stay on Rancho? If it's just for the whitetail, you can probably do well enough on Rancho that you don't need to buy a whole fresh new map, but yeah, I don't know, I think Reventuli probably is the best whitetail map, so if you're gonna hunt other stuff on it as well, it's probably worth the investment. I need to... Hold on, Lucky. Let me look at our messages. I mean, it was 3 weeks, not a month. Close enough. I got a next-gen console and Call of the Wild is still much smoother. That's good to hear. I'm glad that that's helped. I know, especially when Rancho came out, it was bad. FPS-wise, I mean, it felt... I was watching Kyla on her Xbox in Georgia. It felt like 10 FPS, if that. Most rare black bear fur type? Excluding the great ones, it might be brown. In my experience, I've had 2 blondes and 2 cinnamons on this grind and no brown fur types, so maybe that's just anecdotal evidence. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked at all if all of the rares for black bear are the same rate anyway. Would seem reasonable. Did you get a pre-built PC or did you build it? Pre-built. My options were limited to begin with, but I also have 0 confidence in myself to not screw something up royally and end up costing myself more money in the long run. So, pre-built was the answer. Is it just me, or whenever I play multiplayer... Come back, chat. I get kicked from the game? Is it saying, like, the host kicked you, or are you getting, like, the desync stuff? I did get lucky with 1 brown 2 days ago. Nice. I thought I finally had one there in, what was that, yesterday's video? Turned out to be another blonde. Nada. Alright. Back to some of the good lakes. I really haven't touched any map other than SRP and Reventuli since the update of Lies, but I've heard good things about pretty much every map. I mean, Medved, Kyla's been... She's on it right now, in fact. It almost seems like they did the opposite of what it sounded like they were going to do. Like, there are lakes that are just so absurd for reindeer and musk deer.
Well, the river for musk deer.
Oh, the river, not the... Yeah.
I love it, because there's so many, and it only took me, what, 4 days to get a level for musk deer, and I've never had one. And what do? Record it, and to make a video and messed it up. So now I gotta redo it.
When you spawn a level 3 albino from your grind,
No.
it'll all be worth it.
But they're so easy to grind now. It's only 55 days. Then I'm gonna grind for another one. Hope the rest do not mess up this time.
How did that miss? It certainly helps that there's such a small creature that you can more or less hit them with anything anywhere and they're gonna die. I probably would too. They're not one that would be very easy to mistake a rare for a common. Like with the red deer on Tay, it'd be so easy to not realize you're shooting a melanistic at night. So easy to miss that. Are the browns noticeably different? Yeah, with the Sean Watson there. No, the browns, I think you'd notice. I haven't shot one yet, so I don't know for sure. What I've been told is that they're noticeably different, and from what I've seen in screenshots, I think you'd be able to pick it out, but they're probably the least obvious of the three. What's up, Mel? Speaking of people who told me about the brown fur type, you were the one where I got this info from. Chipper Berman Outdoors, did I say that right? Oh, but I did. Thank you for the super chat. My grandma has a property in Virginia, found several sheds over 170. I've seen some massive velvet bucks, but she won't let me hunt. Does she hunt? If she's saving all the big males for herself, that's hilarious. Curious, when you say over 170, 170 inches including like a guesstimated spread, or is that without a spread? Because if that's without a spread, that's nuts. If it's with a spread, that's nuts, by the way. They are closer to cinnamon than blonde, but noticeable. Okay. It's interesting, I confused a blonde for a brown, but clearly I don't know what I'm looking at yet. What's up, Toxic? Glad you can make it, man. Can I ask you a question? I can't promise I'll see it, but you can attempt. She's a big tree hugger. I kind of figured it maybe was going that direction, but I wasn't sure.
I mean, that's the same way with people that own the place. She didn't like
Here?
her husband. Yeah, she didn't like her
Yeah.
husband hunting, so that's probably why there's a huge buck here, because there was like no...
It certainly would have helped. Yeah, the previous owners of this property, the guy hunted some, I think, when he was younger. Oh, sorry. But his wife was pretty... I don't even think she was anti-hunting. I just think she didn't like seeing animals harmed or whatever, so... Fair enough. They owned the place. They didn't let anybody hunt here and stuff, for the most part. We were just walking around yesterday getting trail camera cards, and I found a 20 gauge spent shotgun shell. So somebody was back there hunting within the last, looked like maybe 3 years. It wasn't me, because I didn't kill any turkeys anyway, didn't shoot nothing, and I don't have a 20 gauge. Do you get more perks at level 60? You probably have one skill or perk point at level 60, but after that, nothing new. Started my own beginner's grind because I got bored and people got it easy compared to what I got in 2017 and 18. Yeah, it's probably for the best. I think some of the challenges of like just having a 243 and the way that quick kill and consecutive harvest and all that worked, I think it drove some people away in the early days. If I'm being honest, it probably would have driven me away if not for the fact that I wanted to make content on the game, A, because, I mean, I paid for it, so I guess there's that, but B, and mostly B, I was doing, like, a mission playthrough of, like, I was almost treating Call of the Wild as, like, an open-world version of some of the old Cabela's games where, like, you would walk through a story. A lot of people, before Call of the Wild came out on console, just couldn't run the game on their PCs. Like, it was very hardware intensive, and I mean, still is. But I kind of saw that a bit as, you know, something I could do different, was almost like a let's play, experience the story together sort of thing. So, you know, I kept playing for that reason. There was a lot of stuff I didn't love about the game, and primarily because I didn't understand it, but I don't know, they didn't do a great job of helping you to understand it. I think they do a much better job of that now. Yeah, same here, Bottom Boy. I remember vividly. I would be trying to make a video and, you know, having come from Classic and understanding the way the Classic works, and because this was an EW game, more or less expecting Call of the Wild to be similar to the way that Classic worked. And then just nothing was the same, I couldn't figure anything out. I would just keep going back to the starting outpost in Balmont, and by the way, there was no Balmont Railroad outpost back then, there was a different starting outpost, the one further north in Balmont. And I would just go out by the water and I could get like a blacktail every time. Now back then, no Shrews, as far as I was aware, I didn't understand the trophy rating system or anything. I could have been shooting the same deer every time, it was just coming back, I didn't know what was going on. But it was like the only place I could ever kill a deer, so a bunch of my videos, I go to that spot like 4 times. What, Lucky? The quick kill and crap drove my dad away? I can imagine. You know, I never lost anything super significant. Should have had a diamond, 2 diamond moose, maybe a diamond elk. I tweeted it out that I shot this big elk in Call of the Wild. This is, I feel so dumb for this. It was a level 5. It was a diamond for sure. I didn't even know what a diamond was back then. And I completely butchered this thing with who knows how many shots and poor hits and whatever. And I tweeted out like, hey, I got a big elk in Call of the Wild. Meanwhile, absolutely destroyed what could have been my first diamond. I can't remember if that one was one that I maybe made a good shot on and just didn't have quick kill or what the deal was. But either way, bunch of diamonds I messed up because of that. But if I would have lost something really special, you know, say my albino diamond moose, quick kill still existed then. If I didn't make the shot, or maybe more importantly, consecutive harvest. If my consec was at 0, even after checking it, can't promise I'd have stuck around the game the same way I have. How many diamonds do you have? That is a good question. I have, not like that, 918. This number is incorrect. All these numbers really are incorrect. The Bloodhound update last year messed all that stuff up. My dad shot a diamond Roosevelt elk and didn't even tax it. Back when I started, obviously with no trophy lodges being a thing, I remember I was maybe level 9. Like, I hadn't gotten that far. And one of my friends who works, like, away from home, like he's away for maybe weeks or even a month at a time, he finally comes back and he's playing Call of the Wild a couple weeks after it came out. He goes, dude, I just got a diamond. I'm like, what are you talking about? You got a diamond? What? He's like, I don't know, the medal says diamond. The highest I had seen is gold. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I guess it goes higher. I didn't think anything of it. Didn't have any idea what he was doing. And then he killed another one. He got a diamond blacktail and a diamond whitetail on his first night. He didn't know what he was doing either. He just happened to make good shots on some big males. "2017 was wild. Running my laptop would hit G and start crawl for 200 meters with a bow, get up and walk away for a couple minutes." Oh, like because of bad frame rate? I used to do that in Classic all the time. Auto run, try to run to that tower. It would take like 30 minutes. Get up and like do whatever summer chores I had for the day. Good times. 994 Warthog was your first? That's pretty cool as a first to get one that big. Mine was like a 957 Musteer, just barely made it. When I first started playing, I saw 2 Black Bear, an 8 and a 9. Mythicals sounded bigger than Legendary, so I shot the 9 a bunch of times and took the 8 seriously. I too took a level 8 Black Bear seriously, for a very different reason. I wonder, do you have like a screenshot or anything? Do you know if the 9 was one that should have made it? In my case, I had seen a level 5 moose that I understood what diamond was. Kind of. Dylan, thank you for renewing your membership, by the way, to 7 months. I certainly appreciate that. Welcome back, man. But yeah, like I knew sort of how the levels worked, and I knew that like a level 5 moose would be a diamond if you made the right shot. Generally. Obviously, trolls were a thing back then too. So I get onto this level 8 bear, and I had just messed up this diamond. Yeah, I did mess up the diamond moose. I tried to make a double lung shot, thinking, hey, this is the safe shot. It seems like that's what the game wanted. I didn't understand quick kill yet. Ended up with a 945 at like 88% quick kill. It should have just barely been a diamond. Anyway, level 8 black bear, I'm like, well, if a level 5 moose is a diamond, surely it's 3 levels higher. So, I don't even know what weapon I'm allowed to use. I do some asking around, figured out the 4570 would work. Brain shot this blonde mythical, and it's like 880. It was nowhere even close to diamond, and I was left 12 times more confused than I was prior. It took a long time. It just felt like there was so little information out there about how the game really worked. I thought that was a brown black bear. Alright. Just black bear grinding and shooting my bow in real life, Dylan. I am excited about the bows this year. Kyla and I both got Dart and Spectra E32s. I've been super impressed with how quiet it is. I don't want to cite anything in yet because I gotta paper tune it, and before I paper tune it, I gotta get the arrows I'm gonna be using. I think we're gonna have the Meat Seeker Stingers this year, so I gotta wait until those get delivered. But I'm excited to be practicing archery again, basically. In-game score right now? I don't know. About 30,000. I have never looked at that in a single-player session. At least not on purpose. Huh?
It's like another level 5 review.
Is that one gonna make it?
I don't know. It is a 478.
That's a maybe diamond,
I
right?
don't trust it. This would be my, what, 4th or 5th troll?
No, you gotta look at it the other way. This will be your first diamond.
Yeah. It looks pretty good.
It looks promising to me. Got a 438 diamond hazel grouse? Nice, dude. That one is still the one I want probably the most, and I don't feel like I've gotten any closer. The amount of times I'll hear one fly away and never see it saddens me. How rare is a melanistic side-striped jackal? Pretty rare. It's gonna make it, Kyla. Don't be a hater.
Peter.
Cody. How do you bring up the in-game score? On PC, it's I. On console, I want to say it's like hold down the select button or the start button or whatever it's called on console now. Back button. Just want to go to Reventuli. Isn't it a weird thing, like feeling compelled to grind Blackbear because it's the new thing? Is the new map worth? I'd get it, Lucky. It's a lot of fun. And I know you're at least interested in like turkeys and stuff, so I'm guessing you'd have at least some interest in waterfowl and upland birds. It's a lot of fun to just run around it and smoke all the ones you see. Did I go here again? I don't remember. I need a new bow. Broke mine last year. Made me so mad. Got knocked off my bow rest somehow. I think I understand what you're saying. I don't need to be telling other stories, but I can't help but tell it. In 2020, like 3 days before the end of the season, or 4 days before the end of the season, there was this pretty good cold front that came through, and I decided I was going to sit all day. I think my brother was trying to sit all day, and I'm not sure if my dad intended to sit all day. He doesn't do a lot of all-day sits till rifle season because his back's so bad he can't, like, sit in one place for a long time. So anyway, I got a text at about 11 a.m. of a picture of, like, the limbs of a crossbow and no stock laying on the ground. And Dad said, well, I'm done for the season. And, like, I knew where he was hunting. It's up a pretty steep hill. Again, he's got a bad back and stuff. So my first thought was, like, oh, geez, he fell and broke the crossbow. Like, maybe I better go home because he's probably pretty... might be hurting. He's probably frustrated about this, but I had texted. I was like, what happened? All he did was quit hunting at about 10 o'clock, walk back home, perfectly unimpeded, by the way, and then just shot the crossbow again in order to unload it because you can't leave the string drawn back or it'll damage the limbs. And it just fell off. Like, I guess through years of being out in the elements and maybe being really cold that day, it just broke. It is very toasty in the office. I'm not enjoying it. Which the worst part is, I didn't even have to record today. What is the score?
450.
I knew that was a big one. Hey, wait, what's it weigh?
182.
Nice max weight reindeer.
Cool.
See, you just gotta have faith.
Well, you know, if you get 4 trolls in a row, it's hard to have faith in some animals. So that's a lot of
Listen, I
trolls.
feel it on the Red Fox. I think I had 4. Last year I had a 115 or 120 buck come out at 15 yards and my bow rest fell off. That is horrible luck. If you were to make a prediction of when in the grind you'll get the trophy, example like 1500 kills in or so, like what would I predict? I feel good about this one. I still think it's going to be longer than 1500. I'm going to say 2600. What did Kyla shoot? A max weight 450 diamond reindeer? Goodness gracious, hello guys. Nice of you to join us. I hardly trust shooting bears that are standing up anymore. I've had too many shots go right through them. Danny, thank you for the super chat. I'm going shooting on Wednesday with my old teacher. I told him I'm interested in archery. His response, he's giving me his old bow for free. That's pretty cool of him. I'll say 12.6k. I'll pass you my terrible luck. I don't want it. You can have it. I don't know if I can do 12k. The thing that gets so tough is, again, because I've got some level of obligation to make, like, interesting and varied content, I can't just, you know, again, I don't know how long it's been. Maybe about 10 days. I've got a little over 1,000 kills here. I can't just put in 100 kills a day for whatever that would be. Would that be 120 days? Like, it would just extend so much longer than that. Gonna hit 12k probably at this rate. I think it's just around the corner. If you keep saying that, it'll happen. Trust me, I've seen it in titles. Did Medved get updated? Yes.
Sure did. Well, no point in doing my method anymore.
Why? Hmm? No, I don't. Oh.
I suggested that you go to those
Oh, I see.
Cool.
How's it going? What's the TD part there, Tammy? Today, probably. I'm thinking it's that. Going good. It's a rather warm day. It's a little hot in the office, but it's been a good day. Got some black bear grinding done earlier. It's actually been a particularly easy day, which is a nice way to start off a week. Because I have the real life hunting video for tomorrow on this channel, I didn't have to record prior to the stream, which makes life easier because it's always a rushed situation trying to record and stream in the same day. So I've just been chilling, grinding black bear, doing all that. And in the stream even, we got a albino Rocky Mountain elk, which was a nice little surprise. Oh, I saw that. Stopped right when we shot. I'm so bad at hitting black bear on the run. It's amazing that I've got as many kills as I do. Where'd he go? I think it was vertebrae. Or no, it was too low on that one. And out of render. I'm going to say that one's not worth tracking. One of those things where the time wouldn't be worth it. Plus, I want to get to here again before dark, so we're just going to do that. Did Medved get buffed? I don't know that it got buffed necessarily, but it did. It got like a population redistribution, and there are some hotspots, I guess you could put it that way. How do you find them so quick? I mean, I've killed 1,000 of them in the last like 10 days, so I have a pretty good idea of where they're going to be. So I'm just going to those spots repeatedly. A great Throwback Thursday game? What's that? In my area in New York, hunting is just so bad because of the coyote problems, and the ever-growing sightings of cougars aren't good? Really? I didn't know about either of those problems in New York. I'm just done grinding great ones because I was 1,000 kills in on my whitetail grind and not one great one. I would say that's completely normal. It seems on average for whitetail, somewhere between like 1,500 and maybe 2,500 kills. I guess that would be about 2,000. Tends to be kind of like the average throughout the community. It just depends. Like some people get it in 10 kills. Some people it takes many thousands. You can find a lot of those at bars. Yeah, New York does have... Anyway. Boo. At least that one hit. I think there was one more in there that I hadn't seen. That guy right there. Goodness, the smalls today. Alright. Got my great one black bear 50 kills into the grind. That's what I'm saying. It's all random. So, like, at the end of the day, it could be super quick. It could take forever. Big Buck Hunter Pro is the next Throwback Thursday game. Isn't that the one with, like, the arcades? I keep seeing this because Kyla bought a thing or several things or whatever on, I think, Mercari. And she sent me a link to something on there that I actually kind of wanted to get. We have like it's not like a chandelier really, but it's sort of like that in our dining room. And there was a faux antler chandelier. And I was like, I would like this idea. So anyway, because I looked at it, now I get all the Mercari ads in the world. And they keep showing like a Big Buck Hunter or whatever it is arcade cabinet thing. And then when I click it, it never actually shows me that listing. And I just want to know how much it is. Is a gray brown bear rare? I think it's uncommon. Each time I go to Bass Pro Shops, I have to play Big Buck Hunter every time. I miss the days. I don't know if you guys ever had a gander mountain around you. I don't know how national or local of a thing they were. But I used to get, pretty often when I was young, Gander Mountain gift cards for my birthday. And going and walking around that whole place and looking for like whatever I was going to buy with my 20 bucks or whatever was such a fun experience. I have 48 diamond red deer and no great one. That is insane, dude. Gander Mountain hit different? It just did. They were different than Cabela's and Bass Pro, and I don't even know how to describe it. Like, they had, my recollection, and obviously these are the things that I would focus on at that age, was a lot of, like, you know, the hunting games. I remember buying 2 little northern pike, like, plushy things, one big and one small. And I can't remember if my brother bought them or how we ended up with them, but we had 2 bass ones too. They just seem to have a lot more like stuff geared to kids. We used to have one of those, then it went bye-bye. I got so many fishing rods for 20 bucks. I buy Walmart $9 fishing rods, but you're probably not talking about ultralights. Literally shot 17,000 red deer before I got my great one. I had 116 diamonds. I don't know at what point, maybe there isn't one. I don't know at what point I would just be like, I can't keep doing this, but I feel like it's somewhere before 17K. Like, I'd almost just wonder if I should wait for a reset and start over, you know? Only got to go to Gander Mountain once. We used to go fairly often because there was one not too far from here. Every time I see it, and it's like a Goodwill or something now, but there was one that just so happens to be like on the road to Pittsburgh, so anytime that driving Kyla there for her to go visit family, or if we're going to fly to Georgia or anywhere really from Pittsburgh, I see that and it's just memories of good times. I probably shouldn't use the tripod, but we'll use it. The reason I say we shouldn't is because there's probably another bear in here somewhere that I don't see. Although normally they run that way, so maybe not. Gander started in Wisconsin, okay. Did not know that. Are they like entirely closed down now? Because that seems to be the case. It might be, Ben. It might be. They went out of business, there's the answer. Camping World bought them out. I've never even heard of Camping World. Huh. What's up, Max? It's the luck factor, mistress. Wait a minute. Did that not... What? I thought I remember seeing him, like, starting to go down. I guess we didn't get him very good. Huh. We did hit him. No Oregon set. Well, alright. It may still go down, I don't know. Don't forget the super rares. Where did that shot go? I have no idea. I thought it was good. He did die, so he's probably not even far away. A lot of times, if you make such a poor hit, they'll end up starting to come back to their zone. That kind of looks like... Hey, he's right there. That wasn't bad. During the December deer hunt this year, I might try my 303 with some old 215 grain ammo as a bush gun for drives. Don't think 117 grain would do good in the bush. Probably not. Oh, we got the bug. That makes sense. This is what scares me. What if that happens on the Great One? What's that? It's not a mess up. It's like a bug.
Well, don't blame it on the game. Try to do other things like some people would.
Well, that would be silly.
I'm just
Ray, thank you for the super chat. Been loving the vids recently. Keep it up. I will definitely do my best. Thank you, man. It happens on the weekly blade. It's fine. I killed 47 super rare great ones during the stream. All max score. Holy. Have you shot something to Spirit Bear Brown Bear yet? I have shot a Spirit Fur type Brown Bear since the update, if that's what you're getting at. What time is it? Let's do a 1700 run, because we only have about 20-ish minutes. Of course, we'll switch maps to get the respawns in place. It depends on how much cleaning up of the meat you're willing to do, David. There might be some blood clots everywhere. Back from painting people with water balloons. That sounds lovely. Is 24 max for Black Bear? Yes. I killed my first deer, which was a 4-pointer down in Kentucky. It was one of the best moments of my life. Yeah, that's the cool thing about a first deer. Like, you'll remember that literally forever. I just told that story not too long ago on stream. I told a little bit of it today too, but it's the only, outside of the 14 point, which is at the taxidermist, it's the only set of antlers I don't have. Like, that one will stay at my parents'. Don't know what the heck I'm gonna do with it, you know, way down the road, because I guess it's one of those things, like, you see your dad do something and you want to do the same thing. So Dad had, at the time, well, like, I guess he still has $2 mounted on the wall. So naturally I wanted to do that, and Dad had promised both me and my brother that we could have our first buck mounted. I shot a little 5-point. It's basically just a 4-corner with a brow tine, like a 12-inch spread, little deer. Actually, frankly, a really big 1-year-old deer, or 1.5-year-old deer. but in the grand scheme of things, not that big. So anyway, one day, assuming I have that back, I don't know where the heck I'm going to display that. It's going to feel out of place. Do you still enjoy playing on Verhunga? Quite, yeah. I like Verhunga a lot. I was having a lot of fun with the kudu grinding and stuff. And then I killed that bizarre level 4 diamond that just... I didn't even record it because I didn't think it was big enough. Might be the last time I hunted there. Or no, we went back there... Did we? The wildebeest and the... something? I don't even remember. I think that was after that. That's the reason my buck is the pose it's in. I wanted to match my double brow buck with his double brow buck. That's pretty cool. That, you know, I talked about before. Like, I always wanted to kill a buck with a sticker. Because all my deer prior to this past year were pretty typical. My half-rack kinda buck. I say half-rack because it's broken right above the brow tine. He's got a really strange brow tine. Almost as if it would have branched into another point, but it looked like you broke it or something. But I don't count that as a sticker, so I always wanted one with a sticker. And on top of that, I always wanted a non-typical. I kind of got 2 in 1 there. That buck didn't have split brows. I'd say split brows is something I want as well. It's just a cool little character feature, you know? What is the track weight for a Great One Bear or level 9? Level 9 would be 227 to 290, or, you know, max weight estimate. Those aren't all going to be level 9s. You can get 7, 8, and 9 at that estimate. Great One is just higher than that. It seems there are multiple Great One weight estimates. I attempt to get deer mounted in the pose they were in right before I shot them. That's kind of what I'm going for with this one. He did, and you'll see it in the video, but it's going to be a while. He did a lot of kind of scratching or maybe just licking his back. So I saw a lot of one side of his rack a lot, so I'm having him look that same direction. What lakes do you have the best luck with black bear? By far the mule deer outpost lake. This down here, I kill about 30 bears per run. That one is responsible for upwards of 10 basically every time. Do you prefer European mounts or neck mounts? Depends what for. So I've got, counting the buck that I'm getting neck mounted this year, it's really a shoulder mount, I guess I should say, because a neck mount's sort of a different thing. Shoulder mount's a little further back. I have 3 that are skull plates, 2 that are European mounts, one's a fake European mount, and then one that's going to be the shoulder mount. If the deer is big enough, definitely shoulder mount, but the other side of that is the cost, and that is only going up. Taxidermy's gotten really expensive, and I mean for good reason. Taxidermy in general, quality has gone up a ton, like in the past, say, 50 years. But even, you know, as everything does, in the last even 10 years, it's gotten better. But anyway, I guess, I don't know, I like European mounts and skull plates. I think they look good. It's a good way of displaying a bunch of maybe smaller deer in a small area, but when it comes to larger caliber deer, I definitely like the shoulder mounts. Can we see your trophy lodge? Speaking of that, I gotta do a trophy lodge tour. Hopefully in the next couple weeks I do a trophy lodge tour, and that'll be the way to do it. It's a long deal. It usually takes me close to an hour to walk through the entire thing. It only gets worse with every every new update and every new trophy. It extends the amount of time that it takes me to walk through and do an entire tour. I think it's a good thing, but I don't know. Sometimes I make those trophy lodge tour videos and it gets to be, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and I'm like, is anybody really, are they gonna watch this entire thing? Is it too much? I don't know. Okay. Deer over 150 and 160 deserve a neck mount? It depends on where you're from, though. I would say here, in PA, generally, if you get a deer above 120, 125, that's in the, I would bet, top 1% every year. Any deer above 125. Now, there are areas, I think it's, funny enough, out by Elk County, there's some really big deer in PA, but, like, around this area, generally, you top 120, you're let me put it this way. My dad's been hunting for 55 years, I think. And his biggest is about a 122 or 124, something like that. Jake, thanks for renewing your membership to 4 months. I certainly appreciate you, man. Exactly, Toxic. Evan coming in as well with the super chat. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for being such an amazing creator and showing me and many others how amazing this game can be. What is overall your favorite animal to hunt? Well, first of all, thank you for the kind words. I certainly appreciate it. Overall, and it probably doesn't show because I don't hunt them a ton, I really like hunting wolves. When I can go on a hunt and my main focus is trying to kind of like fend off a pack of wolves, I love to do it with like the 454 or some maybe non-traditional weapon. It's just, I guess it's that rewarding feeling of successfully fending off a big pack. I just enjoy that a lot. I do enjoy, you know, whitetail, antlered animals in general, but just for the in-the-moment stuff, the wolves win that one for me. Chase, thank you for the super chat as well. I appreciate the support, man. Toe size? 12. Most people, when they see a deer, they just kill it. A lot of people don't have an age or size. Like for me, deer should be over 3 and bigger than 6. Yeah, I have a phrase that I'm sure other people have used the phrase too, but I refer to it as Pennsylvania mature. Kyla, thank you for the super chat and the super sticker as well. Is that you killing a reindeer in that sticker? I like it. Anyway, I think what's tough, and I guess it doesn't help when the deer I end up killing is 7 years old or something, but hopefully I can get back to more along the lines of what I'm getting at here. I think more and more young hunters, especially young hunters who maybe aren't introduced to the outdoors by like parents and stuff, who are going to see, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with it, they're going to see a lot of the content from the Midwest, and you know, they don't even shoot 4-year-old deer in the Midwest. A lot of those guys, they're looking for 5-year-old deer. And if you're in PA, or if you're in Michigan, if you're in, I mean, most states in the East, a 5-year-old deer every year is just not realistic. And that's where the phrase Pennsylvania mature comes from. A 3.5-year-old deer for me is mature enough that I'll shoot it as long as it's decent, I guess. Like if there's a 3.5-year-old deer that still maybe hasn't even come close to his potential, I might pass him. But no, we've been very fortunate too. I saw 3 deer upwards of 5 years old this year. PA is getting better with stuff like that, but it's just not the same. And I guess what I'm trying to get at is I want to at least do my part in making it not cool, making it accepted, or helping it to be viewed as acceptable to shoot a 3.5-year-old deer in a state like Pennsylvania or whatever, just because it is difficult. Like if you're doing that every year, especially with the bow, you're in the top percentage of PA hunters for sure. Unfortunately, not everyone has the opportunity to spend a lot of time in the woods every season. Some of us just take what we can get because we don't know if we'll be able to get much more. That's the other thing too, like time is a huge factor. I definitely, it's not lost to me the how fortunate I am to spend the amount of time outdoors that I do. I don't know if you guys watch Jeff Sturgis. He makes content. His channel is called Whitetail Habitat Solutions. Dude is like, he knows what he's talking about when it comes to deer hunting, and he's not speaking from like a lot of hunting experience in the Midwest. He's hunting in PA and Michigan. Now, he does hunt in Ohio some too. He does some Wisconsin hunting. But generally speaking, like, he's hunting some public land. He's not hunting in what you might call whitetail paradise. And he has all this great information. And one thing that he says is, like, you can get more out of your hunts by actually hunting less. And what he means is pick the best days weather-wise and stuff and spend those other days either working or, you know, maximize your vacation days, whatever it is. And while I want to listen to that, I just love going and sitting in a stand and just being there for a couple hours. I don't care if I see any deer. Obviously, I get frustrated if I don't see any deer after like 4 days in a row maybe doing that. So maybe I'll switch it up, but it's tough when... I guess my big thing isn't always just shooting a nice buck. I'm thrilled to go out and... I don't know, like if I see turkeys on a deer hunt, I'm just like, oh cool, it's a cool experience. I'm sitting here, these turkeys are doing their thing, they don't even know I'm filming them, I'm going to show everybody else this. I like it. I'm doing good, Alexander. I've been a talkative lad today. Can't shut up sometimes. 308 of the weapon you're using? I'm using the 300 primarily. I will use the 308 some. In fact, here in probably 2 or 3 minutes, you'll see me use the 308. Hunting is an escape. I've got stands specifically for bad wind or weather, unless it's over bait, so I'll at least see does or something. Yeah, and a lot of people don't really do a lot of doe hunting, or maybe don't place a lot of emphasis on it. It's important, especially on private land. Like, you need to manage the doe population too. So, yeah, if the weather's not good, I'll go to Dad's and sit on the field edge. Dad wants every doe killed possible, so he'll be thrilled if I go and sit on the field edge. You should have seen him last year, like, because we weren't killing a lot of deer. I got the one that is in tomorrow's video, and, boy, I don't remember when he killed his first. It's later. Did he get one with a muzzleloader, maybe? I don't even think he did. But, anyway... Kyla can attest to this. We'd get home from hunting, probably wouldn't have seen much, and Dad'll be just like mystified. Where did the deer go? Why aren't we killing any deer? We need to kill deer. They're eating all the corn, and then they disappear this season. Like, he just gets frustrated that they're, you know, there all summer and then they're gone.
Or whenever we're leaving, like after, you know, the day we're just hunting forever and we don't see anything, and then we leave, and on the lane we see like 20 does.
Yeah, that would happen a lot.
At like 11 p.m.
Dad's just always... They do destroy a lot of his crop, and he always wants them killed, so... Yeah, like I said, I can go and sit and have fun, and if I'm seeing nothing but does, I'm having the time of my life out there. How do you feel about Call of the Wild the Angler? I think it's got a real potential to become the best fishing game on the market, and frankly, EW did it with the Hunter Classic. You could argue Call of the Wild's better. You could remove Classic from the conversation because EW made it anyway, and say they did it again with Call of the Wild. I wouldn't be shocked if Call of the Wild the Angler becomes the best fishing game on the market because they've done it twice in the hunting sphere. Hey, there's nothing wrong with shooting a doe, bottom boy. Does taste great. I try to get... If I can kill 3 a year, that'll do a pretty good job of keeping us sustained. What did you get out tonight? Was that venison?
Yes.
I saw that and I'm excited.
So we're gonna have walking tacos.
Ooh-wee. Call the fish the hooker? I think that's something else.
What?
I think that's...
Oh dear.
I'd rather eat a doe than an old mature buck. It depends. And generally, I mean, the doe is probably going to be higher quality meat. It depends on where you kill the old mature buck. If it's an ag land deer, it's probably still going to be pretty good. My buck's pretty good, and it's not an ag... Well, it's kind of an ag land deer, actually. I didn't shoot him anywhere... Like, we don't have any ag land here, but the sportsman's club next to us, one of the members is also a farmer, and they just let him plant, like, a huge cornfield up there, so never mind, he is an ag land deer. The one thing that is nice, though, you get an old mature buck, even the biggest of does, an old mature buck's probably going to yield 30% more meat. Something like that, 20%. The back straps, we have a couple of them down the stairs in the freezer we need to get used up. The back straps on that deer are just gigantic. It's like, they might be 3 times the size of a doe backstrap. How often do you actually eat venison after an average to good season? What do you think, 3 days a week?
I think a lot, because then we don't even have like the main supply of them here. Dad has it all, so we have to go over there and get some.
Yeah, we usually keep, you should see the garage at my dad. Maybe one day, my mom would never let me. My mom would just be like, it's such a mess, you can't video that. I'd love to show you guys what the garage looks like at my dad's, because, oh boy.
4?
There's way more than 4 now. There's maybe 6 or 7 refrigerators and freezers. And it's all like deer meat focused primarily. So, on average, especially when it comes to deer season, because once it gets to be archery season and stuff, we'll hunt up there a good bit, and whether it's not even just like, hey, we're at my parents, we might as well get the free food. Like, they are insisting that we eat there, as most parents do. A lot of times it's either venison chili, venison hamburgers, a lot. What was the chili dogs they made with venison? Like, we just have all kinds of venison stuff. Deer meat's really good. The other thing that's cool, because you'll hear sometimes that deer meat's like too dry or not fatty enough or whatever. If you go to like a local butcher, you can get beef tallow, beef fat, sometimes for free but really cheap. And if you mix that in with your deer meat, oh my god, it's so good. Have you ever had pickled deer heart? I've never had a pickle. What we've normally done is sliced it super thin, kind of, if I remember right, it was like it was some sort of like little mini breading thing, and then fried in the skillet. Stream ends at 4? I'm assuming it, are you Central Time? It's in 4 minutes. A 100% acid. That's the other thing too. As soon as I moved into my apartment in 2018, getting, having venison as a source of food was a big deal. You start paying for your own food and stuff, all of a sudden those deer are a little more important in that realm. I'm a butcher, so I go to myself. There you go. 1 year, I have no clue why this happened. It must have been, I guess it was 2 years ago, 2020, because I killed 3 does in a couple of weeks. I think my dad got one in muzzleloader season. My brother got one on the first day. We had killed like 5 does by October 17th or something like that. And we just had them all quartered, chilling in refrigerators, waiting to be processed and stuff. We process our own deer, by the way. And for whatever reason, I guess Dad couldn't get a hold of any beef fat. So he sends me to the local store with like $40 or something to just buy as much of the cheapest bacon that I could. And we just ground bacon in with the deer burger. But it turned out really good. We still have some of it. I think actually the stuff Dad sent us has bacon in it. Oh no, that's different though. That's the 2021 stuff, because I don't know where he gets this either. But it's like ground up bacon, but it's like really cheap. I had no idea where he gets it. It's not like you buy a pound of sliced bacon. It's mostly fat, to be honest. Just little ground up things. Deer jerky's really good, Garrett. Dad makes... I've never made it myself. Dad makes it. He'll send it or attempt to send it with us on basically every hunt. And in archery season, I'm like, dude, like, jerky's great. I'm not bringing this smelly stuff into the woods. It is, at least the kind he makes, like the spices and stuff are really aromatic. Good, but not something a deer finds particularly appealing. The bacon idea sounds great. If you can get it cheap, dude, it's some of the best hamburgers you'll ever have. Because A, again, it helps with the fact that venison's a little lean and therefore it's prone to dry out. But B, I mean, bacon flavor already in the burger? Bacon cheeseburger is the thing. When it's already just built in, it's very good. Never actually hunted before, don't have the heart for it, to be honest, but do find it interesting as long as it's not pointless. Yeah, pointless hunting I'm not a big proponent of. It's tough, like, sometimes I feel compelled to defend it because I guess the argument usually the argument against hunting kind of stretches beyond just the pointless, what you might call trophy hunting, into all hunters, and that's frustrating. I've talked about this before. There's a Facebook page that like every 4 days will post one of the same 7 articles about different trophy hunters getting like gored to death in Africa, and the people in the comments that just are so thrilled that these guys got killed in Africa by big game animals is kind of alarming. What's up, Kinsko? It's going good, man. We're just shooting bears, and if I could be non-PG, shooting poo. I won't say it, but just because YouTube. If I can make that my title, that would really be accurate for today. That's probably right, Bottom Boy. It's effectively the same thing. Dad also makes like deer bologna, and it's like the second year I had it by myself. I had a little forkhorn. I had already filled my buck tag, come into like 10 yards, and I had busted some hemlock branches up. They're pretty good cover scent, and just laid it on top of the bag of deer bologna, and it could still smell it when it got that close. Do you shoot the females? I don't. I'm shooting males only. It's been interesting to see the different strategies and stuff of how people are doing it. Is that a male? This run's been all over the place. We're basically ready to wrap up, so I've been trying to skip around and get some extras. Probably that's going to be our last one, though. Sounds good, T-Gallops. Appreciate you stopping in, man. We're going to be wrapping up here shortly. I don't agree with trophy hunting, but that's messed up. Still a human being. Well, the worst part is, I don't know if Mel's still here. We don't have time for this whole conversation, but it's almost necessary evils, maybe not quite the right phrase, but like the amount that it does for conservation and like for the economy, specifically for African trophy hunting, is so misunderstood. Like I don't know, like I understand, I guess, why people don't see hunting as conservation in the slightest, but if you do a minimal amount of research, you can see how that actually works. Yeah, I don't know, David. A little bit of a double standard there. Anyway, there you go. Trophy hunting funds conservation, and all the meat is used. Yeah, and I generally knew that, but that conversation we had, I don't know, a couple months ago, you even helped me to see that even more, like how important that actually is for the economy and stuff. It is incredibly misunderstood. I was reading through the comments. This will be the last thing before we wrap up here. I was reading through the comments on that, and a bunch of people would say, no, like, this stuff actually helps for conservation. And, again, like, it's kind of like do a minimal amount of research and you can understand it, but you'd get all the comments like, they're literally killing them. How could that be conservation? Like, you don't get it, man. It's the funding of it, and it's also the fact that they're killing ones that are predetermined, that are generally not either reproducing or not positive for the population as a whole anymore. Yeah, it's really not Elias. Everybody's got a spin that they're going to put on things. So, even the way that I'm saying it, feel free to take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because I'm sure I'm maybe overlooking some of the potential negatives that are there, but it is just very misunderstood. How many have you shot? We killed, I don't know how many we killed today. Should have been approximately 60, so we should be about 1,050 into the grind. Conservation versus preservation is a huge misunderstanding. That is also true. Anyway, as we claim this bear before we get into a huge debate, we are going to wrap up the stream. No diamond bears today, but funny enough, an albino Rocky Mountain elk, so go figure. Oh, I will answer that too. Is your playlist public? Currently, it's not. Literally, this playlist that you guys are hearing is a bunch of individual downloads from Epidemic Sound, made into one, like, I think, hour and 40-something minute track that just plays non-stop. So I'm going to try to make a public playlist. I don't know how to do that in Epidemic Sound. I'll see if that's possible. Because a lot of people ask, and I'd like to try to make that public. But anyway, that now officially is going to do it for this stream. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for all the support, and I will see you literally face-to-face tomorrow in the first real life hunting episode of 2021. Bye!